nation. And with 41 post offices in Maryland on the in danger of being closed list, people around the state are making their feelings known about the closures, and those rallies are going on all over the U.S. 11 News reporter Lowell Melzer joins us live from Catonsville with more on that story. Lowell.
Yeah, Donna, and as you mentioned, there are a handful of these rallies going on in the greater Baltimore area, if you will, along with those nationwide rallies. Rallies like this one here in Catonsville in front of Congressman Elijah Cummings' office. All of these postal workers and their supporters are rallying to save their jobs, more than 126,000 nationwide. It's hard to argue with the fact that the Postal Service is part of Americana. From the big cities to the small towns, it's always been part of our culture. Recently, though, the Postal Service has been part of what its employees will tell you is a smear campaign, that it is hundreds of millions of dollars in the red, and the more than 126,000 jobs need to be cut to make ends meet.
We're real concerned about the jobs and continuing the salaries.
Dozens of service industry union representatives rallied with Congressmen Elijah Cummings, Dutch Rufusberger, and John Sarbanes Tuesday to pass House Bill 1351, which they say will prevent the financial collapse of the Postal Service.
If you treat the post office fairly, you will conclude that the post office, yes, needs to have some efficiencies and needs to do, make some changes, but basically is an organization that's working pretty well.
The bill, which is co-sponsored by all three Maryland congressmen, basically gives the Postal Service power to access tens of billions of dollars of earned revenue that is sitting in surplus funds.
It right-sizes the Postal Service workforce, and it makes sure that the postal system has the flexibility to do what it needs to do.
The Postal Service has not received any money, taxpayer money, since the 80s. And yet they have this burden of the prepaying, for their medical system for retirees. And from my understanding, and John alluded to it, is that if we get that money back, you can be solvent.
As far as Maryland is concerned, if the bill or some compromise is not met, 41 post offices statewide could be closed, including 8 in Baltimore City. 3 processing facilities could also be closed as well, including Frederick, which would be consolidated into Baltimore, Cumberland, which would go to either Pennsylvania or and the Eastern Shore, with a facility to be named.
Every company in America transfers money from one entity of the part of the company to the other. They won't allow the Postal Service to do that, but this bill will.
And Congressmen Cummings, Sarbanes, and Rufusberger claim that House Bill 1351 has bipartisan support. However, at this point, they don't know exactly when the bill will be voted on. We're live in Catonsville tonight. I'm Lowell Melzer, WBAL-TV 11 News. All right.